Good afternoon. Oh, that was very quiet. Good afternoon. Better. Is everybody having a good day? Whoa, I even got some woos. Excellent. So who has already decided they're coming to McMaster? Yay. Good choice. I'm not biased at all. So my name is Paula, and I'm the Assistant Registrar Student Recruitment here at McMaster. Some of you may have met me at the Ontario University's Fair or through different events that we do throughout the fall. If so, welcome back to McMaster. Is anybody this your first time on campus? Quite a number of you. Well, I'm glad you decided to come today and check us out, and hopefully it'll make your decision a little bit easier. And if you've already made the decision, hopefully it will confirm that for you and give you an idea of what the next steps are that you're going to have to achieve, which is the whole point of our session here this afternoon. So you'll notice that both on this first page and as we go through, this website, start.mcmaster.ca, is going to repeat it over and over. Please make note of it. It's easy to remember. It has all the information that I'm going to be covering today on that site. It's a great tool. We've tried to compile all of the different things that you will need to know about and do from now to when you start classes in September in one place, so that you don't have to sort of navigate through all the hundreds of pages in different departments at the university. So hopefully this is going to be a good, useful tool for you and a useful session. These are the things that we're going to cover. So how do you accept your offer if you haven't done it already? What does that look like? How do you deal with residence, and how do you fill out that residence application form? We're going to talk about how you find money, so how we can give you money, and then how you're going to pay your fees with that money. How you choose your courses and what supports are around there, and the process and timing for doing so. And then we're going to talk very briefly to just highlight some of our orientation and transition programs. If any of you were in the session earlier today about those transition programs, it's a really good resource to tell you in more detail. This will just give you an overline. And then some of our support services that are out there to help you navigate through first year university and beyond. So the first thing is, how many here have already accepted their offer? Most of you. Who is still thinking about it? Okay, good. So if you haven't accepted your offer, you have until June 1st to do so. That is a common response deadline for all universities in Ontario for students applying from an Ontario high school. So we did that intentionally so that there was no pressure. Everyone has the same response date on your offer, but you do have to do so by June 1st because they do expire at the end of that day, and those offers may no longer be sitting there for you beyond that. So please make sure you do it on time. You do that via OUAC, okay, so on your UAC website. If you've already selected another university or even another program here at McMaster, you can still change your mind up until June 1st, okay? So it does give you the flexibility to be able to do that. You would just go in and decline the one you've previously accepted and then accept the one you subsequently want. All right, so that still exists for you. One of the things I really wanted to focus on is that most of you will have what we call a conditional offer. And what that means is that we've admitted you conditionally upon you completing certain things by June 30th. And all of those things will be stated on your offer letter. Which, by the way, we are not mailing hard copies this year. We're trying to be environmentally friendly. So you go onto your Mosaic account, you click on View Offer, make sure your pop-up blockers are off, and that offer letter will pop up for you in a PDF form that you can look at, print off, keep a copy for your records. But all of the conditions are stated there, and typically it's that you have to finish high school, get your diploma first, makes sense. Then you have to complete 6 grade 12 URM courses, including any of the ones required for your specific program. And then lastly, you have to maintain a certain minimum final admission average. And that average will vary program by program, but it will be stated clearly on your letter. Make sure that you meet all of those conditions by June 30th, so the end of the school year, which means that summer school can't be used to meet a condition. If you have any questions about your conditional offer, you can certainly talk to the admissions people. They have a table in the Student Center, or you can call our office at any point during the week, and we'll be happy to answer what those questions may be. So you've accepted your offer, but now you're thinking, I want to live in residence. How many people would like to live in residence if they come to McMaster? Quite a few of you. Okay. On your offer letter, it will state whether or not you have been guaranteed a spot in residence. And this year you needed an 81% admission average in order to get that guaranteed spot. What that spot does is it guarantees you a place in one of our 12 residence buildings. But you still have to do another step, which is to complete the online residence application form and submit the $600 deposit no later than June 1st at 4 p.m. Okay, so there is actually a time stamp on that. 4 p.m., 4:01, it closes down. Okay? If you have not been guaranteed residence, you can be asked to be placed on the waiting list, and there is no deposit required for the waiting list. So it doesn't cost you anything to do so. You still need to do so by June 1st. It puts you on a waiting list. It is done in order of your admission average, so the closer you are to 81, the higher you are to the top of the waiting list. Unfortunately, we can't tell you whether or not you will get a spot until after all the people that we've guaranteed it to respond on June 1st. We see how many spaces they took up and whether or not we have room to go through the waiting list. Okay? Residence assignments. So I have a question here. How many people, students, currently share a room at home? 2 hands. Okay. Parents, how many of you ever shared a room in your lifetime? Look around you, students. I shared a room, bunk beds, with my older sister. It was my personal worst nightmare. Love her to death. We're best friends now, but not so much then. But the reason why I pointed that out was because most of you are going to end up in a double room. That is what we have the majority of spaces. Yes, we have apartment and suite styles, and yes, we have some single rooms, but the majority of you are going to end up sharing a room. And maybe that's with somebody you know, because if you know somebody who's coming to MAC, you both got a guaranteed offer of residence, you can put each other's names down on your residence application form, and we will match you up. Okay? What's important is that you both put each other's names down. So if I say, I'd really like to live with Joe, Josephine, thought I'd better clarify that. I'd really like to live with Josephine, and I put her name and her student number on my form, and then Josephine leaves that part blank and doesn't put my name down. We won't match you up. Because that could be really awkward, because even though I want to live with Josephine, Josephine might not want to live with me, right? Yeah, we don't need that. So match each other up, and you're good to go. If you don't know somebody, or if you just want a new adventure in life, we're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about yourself, likes, dislikes, how late you stay up, how neat do you keep your room, what kind of music do you listen to, and we're going to match you up with somebody who has similar personality traits. Having a roommate is one of the big adventures of university, and you will learn so much about yourself, and you will learn so much about how to navigate through that experience, and you will probably develop a lifelong friend that you'll have forever and ever and ever in doing so. So don't be scared about sharing a room. It's amazing. By the way, I will answer questions at the end, so please do jot them down if you think about anything. We do those residence assignments typically by mid to late July, as soon as we can. We'll let you know what building you're in, what room you're in, who your roommate is. If you've agreed to release your information, we'll do that as well, so you can connect ahead of time. Okay? If you have any special needs, part of that residence application form will ask you for special accommodation request. And if you select yes, then you will be mailed a special accommodation form that you need to complete and send in, along with any supporting documentation, that the Housing Residence Admissions Office can then assess and determine what accommodation may be required for you within selecting those room assignments. Okay? So money. Who wants to know where to get some? All the parents put up their hands. The kids are like, yeah, whatever. It's all looked after. So there's a number of ways for you to tap into different financial resources, and my best word of advice is tap into as many as you can, right? No one single source is going to pay for it all. So entrance awards for us are straightforward, no application. Simply have to accept your offer by the deadline and get a minimum final average of 80%, okay? And that will guarantee you that you'll get some money from us. They are just first-year awards. They are not renewable awards, but we have millions of dollars of what we call in-course awards. And those are awards based on how well you do as a student once you're here at McMaster. And those awards, most of them don't require an application. Most of them are just based on academic performance. But our Student Financial Aid and Scholarship website has a searchable database of all of them. So if you want to see what you may be eligible for, that's a really good resource. But those are automatic. The only thing you have to do is decide to come to McMaster. If you go to Western, we're not giving you money. Just wanted to clarify that, that point. So a couple of other sort of provincial-based resources you can tap into is OSAP. Many of you may be familiar with that. It's an online application. We recommend that you apply as soon as you know where you're going, so you can start the process now if you've already accepted McMaster and are 100% sure that's going to stick, but no later than July 15th if you want that money to be accessible to you come September. The money will get deposited directly into your student bank account. Okay, whatever you set up and designate, it does not come directly to the institution. So you get the money and then you have to pay us what you owe us with it, okay? Just keep that in mind. The Ontario Tuition Grant was initiated a couple of years ago by the province. It is still in effect for this year, and what it does is it assesses students with a family income within a certain range and provides them with basically $1,800 towards your tuition, okay? And that is in addition to OSAP. So that is, if you've applied to OSAP, you're automatically considered for the OTG. If you don't apply for OSAP, then you have to fill out a separate application. The information on both of these is on the OSAP website. So just Google OSAP, it'll come up for you, and you can find out all the details about eligibility. The online application is there. It takes about 10 minutes to fill out. It doesn't cost you anything to do so. A couple of other opportunities here are bursaries, which are free money. They're not loans. You don't have to pay it back. And it is based on a financial need assessment, not on your grades. So what we do is we ask students once they start in September if they think there's still a gap between their resources and their expenses, to fill in this online form, and then we will determine, yes, there's still a need, and we will fill that gap with bursaries. So there is a stipulation in Ontario that every university in Ontario has agreed to, and that no student will be put in a position where they are not able to attend due to finances. That is a guarantee that every university in this province has to comply with. And we do that by assessing, you've tapped into OSAP, you've got the OTG, you've got a little bit of scholarship, you have a little bit of your savings. Okay, that's how much money you have. Here's what your expenses are, allowable expenses. We're going to bridge the gap. Okay? So that's how it works, and that's how it should work at every university in this province. Work study, how many people have a part-time job? Great. There's no reason why you can't continue that as a student. Whether you decide to do it in first year or maybe you want to wait till second year once you've had that adjustment period. But working on campus is one of the best ways to do it because you can put in a few hours here and there between classes. All of your employers know that you're students, so we don't worry about, oh, it's exams, it's midterms, we know, right? So it really is a good resource to tap into just to earn a few extra dollars, get some experience, add something to your resume. Everything from athletics and rec to the library to hospitality services to academic offices to my office, which hires student tour guides to work throughout the year. So we figured out where we're getting the money from, I hope, and now we are going to figure out how and what we're going to study. So course registration is a pretty scary thing. Has anybody actually seen our undergraduate calendar? Yeah, it's about this thick. No word of a lie. And we don't print them in hard copy anymore because it really is not environmentally friendly. It is entirely online and searchable, which is a much easier way to navigate it. But it can be overwhelming. A lot of the language and lingo, terminology that we use may be new to you. And so we do offer academic advising opportunities through all the programs. And those typically happen in June and early July, just ahead of course registration time. Once June 1st comes and goes, you will get an email from your faculty telling you when these opportunities exist. Okay? And it'll be specific to your program that you have accepted. Take advantage of those. They're going to help you navigate through this. Mosaic. I'm sure all of you have been on Mosaic. That's our student portal. Who's logged on? Great. You have to in order to see your offer and see your offer letter. Same place you're going to go to. Right? Mosaic.mcmaster.ca will be the URL you'll use instead of applicants because you're no longer an applicant. And it will allow you to go in and do a whole bunch of things, one of which is register for your courses. So you can be anywhere in the world that you have internet access, and you can do everything that you need to do to start classes in September. You never have to step foot on the campus again until then. Okay? It's all web-based, all internet-based. Course selection typically happens in late June. And we give you what's called an enrollment appointment. So you are going to get an email that says, this is your date when enrollment opens for you. And the reason why we do that is because if we didn't, and we just said, okay, enrollment for first-year student opens tomorrow, and all 5,100 of you jumped on the computer tomorrow, what do you think it would do to our computer system? Crash it. So we stagger it by giving you all dates. So just pay attention. That's the date you can start. If you don't do it on that date, don't panic. You can do it anytime after that date, but that's just the first date that you personally can log in. You will have picked your courses ahead of time. You will have done your academic advising, and then you'll just go in like a shopping cart, and you will say, I want course A, course B, course C, course D. Enroll me. And click on the button, and click submit. That's pretty much how it goes. So the course selection piece that happens ahead of time is the most critical, because if you know and have all your courses figured out, then all you have to do is just find them, select them, like a drop-down menu, just like you're shopping for something on Amazon. Okay? It's pretty much what it looks like. The Getting Registered Online guide at theregistrar.mcmaster.ca, good tool. There's also videos on our START website, which actually show you screen grabs and explain to you exactly how it's going to work. Just prepare yourself ahead of your enrollment date. That's my best advice. And that way you'll be all set. It won't be stressful at all. Once you have registered, you get to upload your student center, or your photo, excuse me, to your student center. Make sure it's a good one, right? It's your best shot. I was joking with somebody. I actually graduated from McMaster almost 26 years ago. You're all supposed to feign surprise. Come on, that I don't look old enough to have graduated 26 years ago. But I did. I still know my student number off by heart. I could rattle it off like that, and I still have my original student card. It will become your keepsake, I promise. So make sure it's a photo that you like once you upload it to your student center. So you've registered for your courses, you got all that academic advising, you know exactly what your courses are going to look like, what your timetable is going to look like, by the way, because you can actually register by section. Don't get too excited. Everybody thinks, I'm going to pick the perfect schedule, and I'm not going to have any courses before noon, and I'm not going to have any courses on Friday at all. It's not going to work like that. So don't get too excited, but you do get to kind of play around a little bit with your schedule. So now you have to figure out how to pay for your fees. And I know all the parents are paying attention. The kids pay attention. This is your responsibility, not your parents. Online, through Mosaic, you will have access to your student account 24/7, which means if you give your parents your login and information, they will also have access to your information, but that's up to you. You will be able to see exactly how much you owe. It's live, which means if you register for so many courses and then you decide, I don't know if I'm done or not, and you go away for a day, at that point in time, you'll be assessed so many fees. The next time you go back in and you add 2 more courses, your fees will increase by that course number. Okay? So it is live. It also calculates your residence fees, so depending on which building you live in, your meal plan, depending on what size meal plan you decide to purchase if you're in residence, all of those are one account. It's all one account. You're one person, everything is on one account. So you can see that on a rolling basis. Your payment deadlines, other than your deposit for the residence, nothing is due before September 1st. Okay? And you have a bunch of different ways of paying it. Credit card, online banking, which is the preferred method. It's really simple. You just set McMaster up as another payee, like you would any other bill that you want to pay. And your student number, your student ID number, which probably starts with 4,000, is your account number. And then you just pay it like you would pay any other bill out of your bank account. Okay, that makes sense? So it's really straightforward, easy to do. Again, you don't ever have to come to campus. Now, I've mentioned this Money Matters website here, and I really want to stress that you take some time to look at it. It was designed by our student accounts, our financial aid and scholarship people, and our Student Success Center to try and increase financial literacy in our students. So to help students, and I said this earlier, it's the student's responsibility to pay the fees, to help students understand how credit works, how to set a budget, how to manage a budget, right? It's to help you develop those financial literacy skills that are going to help you not just now, but in the future, right? So that money.mcmaster.ca, great tool, great resource. If you have younger students at home, Encourage them to start looking at it. It's never too early to start getting into those skill sets. So we've paid. We're good. We're all ready to start. Now we need to figure out how we're going to go from being a high school student to being a university student. And McMaster's put a lot of tools in place to help make that transition a lot easier. So I have a question. How many parents in here, this is your first child going to university? A lot of you. How many, this is your last child? So this is the baby. You're going to be empty. See? Okay, this woman in the front row put her hand up so high, so fast. Have you already figured out what you're doing with her room when she goes?
Not yet.
Not yet? Yeah. She's sitting right beside you, but if we were alone, you've already got plans. I guarantee it. So the reason why I asked that question is the people that this is their last one, they're like, I got this, it's easy, go do it, fly, right? Go have fun. And the people that it's their first one are wringing their hands. You know, I talked to a parent earlier today, and his question was, well, the condition on the offer is that he has to maintain an 85% for the program he had applied to. And he was very concerned what would happen if he didn't do that. And I said, well, what is his average currently? And the son was standing right there, and he said 92. And so I said to the dad, you really think he's going to be able to drop 7 whole percentage points between now and the end of the school year? He said, well, I know, but he won't, but it might happen. I said, Dad, relax. He's got this. He's figured it out. He would literally have to not write his final exams to drop 7 percentage points. He's going to be okay. But it was the anxiety on the father's face. So some of these orientation things, they're for parents too. They're to let you know they're going to be okay, that there's lots of resources out there for them. The Summer Orientation Academic Readiness, or SOAR for short, great online tool. Once a week, something new, a new set of information, a way to engage with other students, both incoming and current students, to just understand some of the academic skill sets you're going to need as a university student. The orientation fair, that's new this year. I think it's a really cool idea. August 16th, you can go on. There's going to be online live chats where you can sit and message back and forth from the comfort of your cottage on your Wi-Fi and talk to current students about some of your concerns, right? Just connect. The Shifting Gears program, for people that might be coming in with some accessibility concerns or issues, this program is designed to help you navigate through the university and through the structure in dealing with some of those accessibility concerns that you might have. And Moose I really put up here because I think it's the most exciting thing. This is a program jointly between our student success, our athletics and rec, and our outdoor adventure people. And we take students up to Algonquin on a canoe trip for a few days before classes start. And they learn to meet new people, they learn some good personal skills that they're going to need to adjust to university, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. Okay? So this is something that you might want to look into on the website and see whether or not you're interested. Welcome Week. Back in my day we called it Frosh Week, but it's Welcome Week. And what it's designed to do is to make sure that as a new student, whether you live in residence or not, it doesn't matter, that you get engaged with our community. And our community could be the people in your residence building, so there's activities around that. It could be people in your faculty, so there's activities around that. It could be the greater Hamilton community, so we get you out there and we show you what you can explore in the city of Hamilton. We take you on bus tours of the city, for example. Okay? We even have an agreement with our local grocery store, Fortino's, which is just down the road on Main Street, and they have a discount day for students. They have shuttle buses that come and pick you up and take you down there and bring you back with your groceries. Right? So you are part of a community, whether it's here or in Hamilton, and Welcome Week is really designed to make sure that you become part of that community within the first week. So student services, we're almost there. I promised I would get done in half an hour, and I got 5 more minutes. Look at me go. So student services, these are all the things that are in place to help you. Not just in first year, but right through until you graduate and beyond. So student accessibility, it's pretty clear what that is. It's a resource for students that have accessibility needs. They work with you to determine what your accommodations may be and to support you throughout the school year, including exam accommodations, etc. Our Student Wellness Center, that is our Student Health Center. So we have a full slate of nurses, registered practical nurses. We also have nurse practitioners. We have psychologists on staff and medical doctors. It is a full service health care center. We also have a pharmacy right on campus in the student center. Okay, so you don't need to have to worry about going home if you have prescriptions that you need to pick up. The Student Success Center, it's exactly what it says. It's about making sure you are successful in all aspects. So academic skills, how do I write that first exam? You know, how do I time manage with 5 courses, right? How many of you take 5 courses right now? Most of you in a semestered school, non-semestered you may, right? And how long do those courses last? All year. Our courses, most of them, are 1 term, which means you start classes the Tuesday after Labor Day and you're writing your first exam the first week of December. It's compressed, right? So I'm not saying that to scare you. I mean, everybody survives it. Everybody, you know, can be successful. But it's a change, right? It's a change from what you're used to. And that's what the Student Success Center is about. It's also about dealing, you know, are you homesick? You know, are you just dealing with the pressure of having to make some decisions on your own, right? We can help with that. Those services are there to support you in that. You may think it's weird that I put athletics and recreation up here, but athletics and recreation is not just about supporting our varsity athletes. In fact, that's a very small part of what they do. Speaking of varsity athletes, anybody here a football fan, a university football fan? Do you want to hear some really sad news that broke my heart? Our coach is leaving, yes. That's like a very dark day for me. He's the most amazing person you ever want to meet. I wish him well. He's going to the Ticats as their offensive coordinator, but so good for him, bad for us. He was the first coach to ever take us to a Vanier Cup, which is a national championship, so I wish him well. But they are not there just for the varsity athletes. They are there for every single student. It is their mission, their mandate, to make sure that students have access to healthy, active living opportunities. So whether you want to, you know, do Zumba, or you want to learn Tai Chi, or you want to play inner tube water polo, or you want to climb our high ropes course, or our indoor rock climbing wall, or you just want to work out in the pulse in between classes, it's designed to meet your needs. So they are really there to help offset that academic stress with health and wellness opportunities. And technology support. Those of you that weren't here this morning when my technology wouldn't work, I could have used it. However, it might seem like an odd thing too, but when your laptop isn't working, that's a big stressor at university. So we have a lot of resources in place to make sure that you keep yourself up and running when you need it. So, next steps. Where do you go from here? You're going to accept your offer, both admission and residence, by the deadline if you haven't done so already. You're going to check out OSAP application and figure out if it's something you want to complete and get that done before July 15th. You're going to wait for that email to come to you about academic advising and then take advantage of those opportunities to help you select your courses and understand what your first year course load would look like. Then go online when your enrollment appointment happens, select your courses just like a shopping cart, just like Amazon. Figure out how much you owe once you've done all of that. Figure out how you're going to make those payments. And then upload your smiling face for your student card that's going to become a keepsake for your rest of your life, and make sure you join us for those Welcome Week activities. By the way, this year move-in for residents is the weekend before Labor Day. Okay? So either the Saturday or the Sunday, you'll be on one of those days, depending on which building you end up in. That will be the day that you move in before Labor Day, and classes start the Tuesday after Labor Day Monday. So Welcome Week activities will take place between the weekend prior to Labor Day and throughout the week following Labor Day. So it's kind of an extended week, okay? So there's the website. Take a picture of it. I saw lots of people taking pictures of it. This session is being recorded. Sorry, I should have told you that before. Session is being recorded. It will appear on our website. So for future reference, or people that weren't able to join us, they will be able to see the slides and hear the commentary alongside of it. Are there any questions that I could address now before I let you go? Yes, ma'am. So the question was, on the residence application form, can we indicate the building type or just the room type? It's a room type. Yes. Question, yes. Yes. Yes, so the question was, when do we find out residence assignments and roommate assignments, and can we get their name? Typically, it's about the middle of July, about the second week of July. You'll get your assignment and your roommate's name if you have agreed to release it, and then you can connect with your roommate ahead of time. Yes, ma'am. So it's scholarships are as of the end of June. So it's always your top 6 4U and 4M courses, including any required for your program in that 6, as of June 30th. So that's the point in time we will take the average we use for scholarships, not necessarily what we calculated for admission at the point in time. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes. At the back there. Appointment? Yeah, so what's going to happen is you're going to get an email from us after June 1st, closer to the end of June, and it will say this is the date that you can go online and start registering for courses. Yeah. This lady and then this gentleman. Yes. Mm-hmm.